Ruff Talk VR.
Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest Oculus Quest news. We join our hosts Dscruffles and Stratus2k1 today as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the Oculus Quest virtual reality world.
Hey, Dscruffles, how are you doing today?
Another beautiful day. How about yourself, Stratus?
Not complaining. So, today, we were nice enough last week to have been given copies of the movie Madrid Noir. And you've got the info on the director. But we've said since the beginning when we did podcast, if somebody's nice enough to give us something, then I think we should be nice enough to give it the review it deserves. So, with that, we give you our review of the movie adventure, slightly interactive Madrid Noir.
Yeah, they describe it on the Oculus Store as an interactive mystery. It's directed by James Castillo, developed by No Ghost, and produced by Atlas 5. It's currently rocking a 4.1 on the Oculus Store with, unfortunately, I think that this is an injustice. Only 38 ratings and 12 reviews. It's only $8.99.
I mean, it is new.
It is new. It's 45 minutes, and I will be the first one to say that I did not buy an Oculus to watch movies. I went in for games. That's me. I'm a gamer. So a movie wouldn't be on my first thing to buy, so I get that. I have a changed opinion.
Yeah, When I admit I go into like the YouTube app and I'm always searching for, hopefully there's something in VR, like especially like concerts or something like that that's been adapted for VR, and there's really not anything that interests me. So
yeah, I have a friend who loves like the underwater stuff and the space stuff.
Yeah, they do a good job with that. But I have yet to see an actual experience.
No, I don't really use the Netflix app. I don't watch too much TV, so I get why this wouldn't be like on their wish list, but I'll be the guy to say, as somebody who gets that, as somebody who's that person, this movie touched me a little bit. I won't lie. The ending, man. This is one of those no spoilers. It's a movie. You don't want to spoil a movie in the review. You can say if a movie's good or bad without spoiling anything, but I didn't expect an animated movie to get a little waterworks out of me.
No, I mean, I thought of how could I creatively actually review it without spoiling anything, and there's a lot to spoil depending on what word you choose to use. So I'm looking at it like this. How was graphically, did I like it? Sound score, did I like it? How engaged did I feel to be watching this movie?
Plot line, how was the plot line? How was the
story?
Development?
How was the story mode? How was it put together?
The character
and
development.
How am I going to feel? And how did I feel at the end? So that's how I'm actually reviewing it. So I'm not going to have to give away any spoilers at all, and I'll just stick to those basics of what I thought about the movie.
Okay, so I'll say graphically, I liked it. I liked the graphics personally. I thought the animated characters was off-putting at first. My initial reaction was, I'm unsure. But by the end, I was... the benefit of animation is it allows you to do so much creativity, right? It allows you to explore so many scenes. So I actually think it worked better with the art style that they used. And I didn't think it was low quality at all. I thought the lighting that they used was very creative. And like you mentioned the sound score, like the music that they chose and that they had for it added to the emotion. They did a good job, in my opinion, visually and audibly. The voice acting, I didn't see any personal hiccups really. The narration's good. Yeah, I think on those ends, in terms of visuals and audio, it was engaging in those. Absolutely,
Yeah, so you're going to follow basically one main character named Lola. That's not a spoiler at all. That's who she is.
No, you'll get to know Lola.
And you're going to be part of her life for 45 minutes. I'll say 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's, they say it's interactive. I'll say it's because I've read some of the reviews, and one or a couple of people might have been like, hey, it's not as interactive. So it's minimally interactive.
But how much interaction do you want in 45 minutes? That's
exactly what I was going to say. It's like you're technically, it's more than watching a movie because you're actually there. You know, movies are and TV shows, they're good to watch and all that, but how immersed are you in the actual story? This kind of like sucked me in. I was like you at first. I was like, I don't know about animation. You know, I'd rather see, you know, real life people act or whatever. But as the story unfolds, you actually get personally involved into the story, unlike you would if it was not in VR, 100%.
And I think even like you would if more so than if it was real people. Again, I don't know if
but real people in VR, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
so I'm going to say 100% it would be the same to me until I see it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yep, because that's the key. If I watch if I were to watch this movie on flat screen, old school TV, it would not have been the same experience if I watched it in VR.
That's absolutely true. My eyes would not have watered up by the end.
So would it have mattered if they were real life actors or animated?
I think the animation in this particular case helped based off of the particular storyline and like the scene selection.
But you get where I'm coming from,
yeah, I get
right?
it. Maybe a in-person one could.
So depending on how but did you feel involved in this movie? Like, did you feel invested while watching it?
By the end, also like real quick too. It's I have no problem with animation. It's just I tend to favor cartoon, like drawing cartoon versus like 3D Pixar stuff personally. So like that's the animation style. That's why I was apprehensive. And I will say in terms of connection, so I think that this isn't any spoilers. I don't want to give away too much of the interaction, but like the interaction, when you interact, it makes sense in my opinion. And when you don't interact, it's due to narrative things and it makes sense why you're not interacting. But there's two parts to the film, and I'm not going to say more than that because I don't want to give away the interaction and stuff like that. I think it's a very cool aspect of it. But there's two parts, and I'll say part one I enjoyed, but it wasn't crazy, amazing to me. But it was necessary to get to part two. Like part two wouldn't make sense without part one, right? The emotion comes in part two. The moments that I became really connected to the characters, the moments that like I really had solid opinions on how I felt about everybody, the moments that got emotion out of me, the moments that made me go, this is I highly recommend this to people. That was all in part two. So I'll say by the end, yeah. You know what? I got positive things to say about, Lola and the other characters involved in it, How about you? Did you have some connection to Lola and maybe some of the other characters without mentioning who they are?
Yeah, I'm not mentioning any names other than Lola. I'm not mentioning anything other than what I said I would mention, and I'm not veering off it. I refuse to until everybody's seen it. Otherwise, you're going to kill someone's hard work.
Yeah, I think that there was surprising emotional investment in this. Again, like
I started off, apprehensive, admittingly, like, okay, it's 45 minutes. This is going to be a long 45 minutes. Because I know I'm going to be, I had to take myself out of it because would I have ordinarily run and said, I'm going to watch this? Probably not. Did I make a choice and felt obligated that I needed to? 100%. So I had to watch it totally open-minded with no preconception of like, oh, well, maybe animation's not my thing. But to me, the level of detail they put into, and I'll specifically say some of the lighting and or we'll say shining aspects of things had Pixar written all over it. If you had told me sight unseen, like, oh, hey, check this movie out that Pixar did, I would have bought into it. So yeah, graphically, I holy Moses.
And they do a good job. Like the lighting enhances that.
No, they're
very creative.
Their use of lighting, it blew me away.
No, hats off to the director and the people involved in terms of like
the amount of detail. And I think I had told you after watching it, I said, look, the music, the sound, the story, the lighting, and their use of quality glare. I think it really was like putting good glare where they needed to for graphics. Was over the top. It was home run city.
I'd say it enhanced the graphical ability of the Oculus Quest.
Yeah, it was a lot better than I thought it could possibly be for where we're at with, Oculus 2 right now. So, I mean, graphically, again, if you had said Pixar put their name on this, I would have said, okay. Because I want more.
Yeah.
It opened my eyes up to like, I want more.
I was going to say, it's funny that you mentioned, like, oh man, 45 minutes. Cause that was kind of my initial thing too. I was like, again, I'm not like I didn't go into VR for film, right? So I was like 45 minutes. Let's see how this goes. And like, especially cause it wasn't until the second half that captured me, right? So like the first half was good. I was like, okay. And then I start the second half and I'll say like, I don't think this is giving any spoilers about the ending, about the plot or anything like that. But you actually said this to me because you watched it before me. And I had the exact same ending reaction as you where I went, no, I want more. Give me another 10 minutes, please. At least another 5. But like it's concluded good. I'm not saying that it's a bad ending. It's an amazing ending.
It makes you not want it to end.
Oh, but I'm like, no, that's it. No, give me part 3. Like, so hats off to them. I could have sat through an hour and a half after the way part 2 ended. And like, I won't lie, as soon as it ended, I don't cry in movies often. I'm telling you, it's not like I bawled my eyes out, right? But like, I had to take my headset off as soon as it ended because I'm like, I'm going to fill my lenses up with water. That's probably not good for my headset. And like, I felt one tear drip down onto my, my Oculus, face mask thing. And I was like, oh man, headset coming off right now. I was like, power off, man. I'm going. I came out. I talked to my girlfriend for a second. I was like, she was like, how was the movie? I was like, it was good. It was real good. Trying to hold it back, She's like, are you crying a little? I was like, just a little bit, but it's good. It was a good movie. I'm glad about the ending. Man, I was not expecting that. I'm not the guy who cries during movies. I'm not. And I'm surprised it happened during an animated movie. So hats off to them. I think anybody who's ever written or anything like that, 45 minutes is a short story for film. So there's a lot of, to get an emotional response, the only way you're getting emotional response is to get character development and get attachment and get people invested. Because why are you going to cry in something that you don't? Why would you feel emotion about something that you don't care about, right? So to be able to do that in 45 minutes and get emotion out of a guy who wasn't 100% must own before it, right? And doesn't usually cry, to be able to do that to me in 45 minutes in a genre that's not usually my thing. Wow. Good job. I came out and I told my girlfriend, you got to watch this, when can you watch this? When do you have 45 minutes,
No, anytime I've ever had an emotional experience watching a TV or a movie or even a book, which I struggle with, it's always my biggest hats off to the people that put it together, because you've taken my attention and brought it together to the point where, I'm feeling what I think I'm supposed to be feeling. And so I don't mind admitting that this movie gave me a touch of the feels. I think it says it in the reviews that there is some emotional cost to this movie when you watch it, but that's just part of that whole storyline that they feed you. And again, feeling that invested when you're watching it, and you're not just there just admiring, you're part of it. And like you had said with, use of interaction, it's there when it needs to be, and it's not when it doesn't need to be, and it's not hurting anybody by it not being there 24/7. Like you have to be, using a fidget spinner. It's they put it together perfectly.
Yeah, and even I could even argue that there's some moments that didn't need interaction with lighting and stuff like that.
It doesn't. I stick to your original. It made sense.
Again, but no, yeah, exactly that. Like,
how's this?
I wouldn't say it needed more interaction.
How about no interaction? It still would have been
amazing. I agree.
The experience that I believe I was taken on, fine, no interaction at all. It would not have taken away from my experience.
The plot was very engaging. There was times I had my controllers down and I was just like, ah, man,
Did it make me feel more invested to the story to have a little piece here and there? Absolutely. 100%. And I can't give any spoiler, but yeah, I mean,
hey, I have a question.
So there's some feel good moments.
Do you feel that you may have extended it past 45 minutes messing around in the beginning?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
I played around a lot. I'm such a child,
and shame on us for not saying this at the get go. But I mean, besides being an interactive story, and you're part, you're going to follow the life of the main character Lola. It's taking place in the 1930s.
No, 30s or 50s?
Nope, 30s, baby.
Okay, you confirmed?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I remember that there was.
Don't say it.
Okay.
Don't say it. Okay. I already know what you're going to say, and
okay.
you're not doing math, so don't say shit. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
so
yeah,
see,
yeah,
this is why you got to be careful. This is, hey folks, this is why you have notes and you keep notes. So we're talking about 1930s time period here. So it's a different, and I think they kind of encapsulated that fantastically with their use of scenery. I remember one of the things references. I told you though, I was like, wow, I get this and I'm only going to talk about the one thing, but I kind of get that old Hollywood theater-ish vibe right at the get-go.
No, did we mention the country? Yeah, it takes place in Spain.
Dude, what's the name of the movie?
Madrid Noir. Hey.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.
Hey.
Not Madrid, Florida.
Hey.
Just saying.
Hey.
So yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying.
The music score.
Should still reference it.
I want to talk about their music.
No, there was a couple moments of like, I'd say where they
right from the get-go. Forget the adventure. Right from the get-go.
I'd say the moment that I was like, dude, he wasn't lying about the score. The score is good. Is their ability to induce suspense.
Yeah, drama. They had me right at the start.
They had you sold right at the get-go?
It was like everything felt authentic.
It did.
The only thing missing was like, well, I suppose you could get like an ashtray and put some water in it and keep it under your nose and stuff. But you know what I'm saying?
I can't say what. There's one thing that I wish I could have done more with, and I know that you were doing the same thing.
Yeah, but
So there is I guess you could say without spoilers, a moment you can play around a little bit even.
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you though. Like,
I
don't need a fidget spinner the whole time I'm watching a movie.
No.
I'm happy.
And I did read the reviews before watching it because I wanted to think what are other people taking away from this? And now let me see what I can take away from it. And to the, people who may have said, well, it's not interactive enough. I mean, it's not a game. It's not. I mean, I would say it's an adventure. And if you get any feels at all off of anything, then there has to be some life-changing something that made that happen.
Again, when I looked at the reviews and I saw only 38, I was like, man.
I think it might just be because it's new.
Maybe because it's new.
It's not like I haven't seen it force-fed in feeds and all that.
Because it's not like they're asking like $15.99 for a 45-minute movie or anything. They're asking under 10.
Under $10.
That's fair. For what it is? If you make me cry for under $10.
Without punching you?
Yeah. Just off of story,
off of words,
off of
words and storyboards, dude.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, no, you can't. You know what I like about this too is I think it's one of these because there's no motion sick at all.
No, not at all. And it's completely sitting. I sat down on my bed.
Yeah, I pretty much did. There was one point I stood up.
Okay, actually,
other than that, the rest I was sitting.
Yes,
but
yes.
I think this is one of these This is one of these situations where if you have someone that you really want them to experience the Oculus and have an actual good time with it, possibly even be sold on it.
Yeah.
This is the one. Older folks could sit there and young kids. There's more than enough to engage a younger child. But the adult will take the true experience from start to finish.
Yeah, it's one 100%. It's one of those things. It's not huge amount of data in the end for $9 for exactly what you said to be able to it's a cool experience to show somebody for VR new to it. Perfect amount of interaction. I'd say it's not a must own to have on your headset to just be able to whip out at any moment. Grandma comes over, mom comes over, somebody comes over. I think an adult, honestly, to tell you the truth, is going to get the most emotional impact. Yeah. I agree with that.
But there's enough to feed. Look, there's enough going on for.
I agree with that.
Think of that. A
100%.
small child would be engaged, but they wouldn't understand the adultness of it.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yep.
It's like,
and the adult will take the 100% experience.
I think a kid might end it and go, I don't fully get it. What happened?
Yeah. Well, wait a couple of years in life, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, rewatch this when you're 16.
But you never know.
That's true.
You never know.
Yeah, this is. I'd say though. Yeah, don't think because it's animation. Because like, oh man, I didn't get an Oculus to enjoy movies and stuff. Like, hey, as the guy
for that price point, it's beyond worth every penny. Because you. How's this? I watched it twice.
Yeah, and you know what's cool about it?
So I'll probably watch it again, right?
I think this is fair. I think this can be said without giving spoilers. I'd say that you catch things the second time too.
Well, yeah.
Because now you know, and you're like, well, now let me
pay attention to some other areas I wasn't looking before.
Yeah.
That's why I give them a lot of credit to that whole scenery.
When you first load in too, and like that first initial interaction that you have to do, you're like, ooh, this is going to be cool.
No, they had me. I told you right from there. And
and again, when I say that the first half didn't get me, it's not that it didn't get me. I wanted to watch number 2. But
it's called an intermission, not the first half or part 1 or part 2. It's intermission.
Yes, thank you, Stratus.
They went traditional.
They really did. Like you said, 1950s Hollywood, 30s. No, but like that old school. I just like old school Hollywood. Like
I think
it's
that
like,
was I instantly one of the things I was telling you. I'm like, dude, just look around.
Yeah,
just look around.
It's like
don't even go anywhere. Just look around, man.
I half expect Marilyn Monroe to come in after, like, hey, how'd you enjoy the film? You know,
right?
Like it's like that. You know,
VR is absolutely a life-changing experience.
No, because imagine if you went to the movie theater and it started with that opening, like you'd be like, that's a little corny.
Yeah.
But in VR, you're like, all right, wow, let me strap myself
down for this. Yep, I'm down. Let's go. Start the ride. I want to see what you got.
So Madrid Noir. All right, you want to start pros, cons, and final rating?
Yeah.
It's interesting to do a movie. This is our first movie, our first non-game.
Yeah. Yeah, usually it's all games.
I think that's a good word for this is what Oculus themselves use. This is an Oculus Quest experience.
It is an experience.
It very much is.
Regardless, I would have said you have to.
Yeah.
So who wants to go? Who's going? Me or you?
I'll let you lead simply because you watched it before me.
All right. So Madrid Noir. What did I like about it? After watching it, everything. I want more of it. I've got questions, but I don't want to ask them now because I don't want to potentially ruin what could be answers. I don't know. Graphically, it was again, I use Pixar as because everybody knows their work. This level of quality was up there. If I had if you want me to get ultra critical and be like, okay, well, nothing's perfect, then okay. I think the very beginning at some point, the voiceover for Lola, I might have even mentioned it to you. I'm like, it sounded right there at that one point, like it was a little off or whatever. But it was honestly, I mean, you're looking at somebody who's like searching for something to find bad. For the price point of $8.99, it'd be shameful to not get it just to be able to share it with others. And I would challenge it to see how it impacts you, how this movie actually emotionally hits you. Me personally, I'll admit it, I got a touch of the feels watching it. I have no shame in it. I didn't know that you would. I didn't know that anybody would. I just know that this movie was written in a way that brought something out of me that was like, hey, this, I got the feels, man. So if I were to rate it on like our same scaling system, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I'd put it as a must-own, keep it in your quiver of games and your library of apps and such, and be ready to pull it out for people who have, just aren't very active or just want to sit there and enjoy something, or you just want to show off and be like, hey, you want to see something really cool? And I think it's a great step in the direction of where I think movies could go, to be honest with you. So it's a 9, folks. I don't give out high ratings. I really don't. But when something touches me emotionally, I mean, if there's a game that touches me emotionally, I'm going to rate it high because of it. And this movie had me wanting more. I have nothing bad to say about it. I've watched it twice, so that means I'm in it for almost 2 hours. And I'm not complaining about it. So please enjoy it.
Man, I feel like I'm in school, right? And I just worked on a project, and then somebody went right before me, and they did the exact same project I worked on.
Oh,
you stole my review.
Sorry,
No.
That's happened before, though.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the problem of going first.
Yeah, I took a gamble.
It happens.
No, but exactly what you said. I really don't have complaints. I guess the only complaint I have is that there's not another one I can go buy right now and go watch another one. Like that's
a part 2?
Yeah, that's my only complaint, I guess, is that, okay, so here's this. I'll give them a lot of credit because without giving spoilers to the ending, it ended in a way that both was a amazing ending that if they never made anything else for Madrid Noir, it would be concluded. It would be a fantastic ending. It got the emotion out of me. But they leave that enough that if they want to, make this a series, oh man, there's as much potential as they want. So that hats off to do. That's like the Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill. It's like, if you ever want to make a third, you can. It. But if they ended it, it's a fantastic ending. So I'll give them a lot of props. That's hard to do, especially in 45 minutes. I said this earlier. If you can get emotional reaction out of me in 45 minutes for under $10, hats off to you. I think if I rated under 9, and let me emphasize again, it's not like I was bawling my eyes out, but I had tears. If you get that response to me and then I rate you under 9, am I being honest? Like how can I cry and then be like, yeah, but 7, but you cried, dude. You cried. Come on. Not many things, So I have to agree with the 9.
You know what's funny?
We're
both rating a movie experience a 9, and all we're able to say about it is you follow a main character, Lola, and her uncle.
And it takes place as roasted me a little, and as you roasted me a little bit for, yes, obviously it takes place in Spain, but I feel like you should, still mention it.
No, I got you.
Just
busting chop. No, the locale was chosen for a reason,
they did it beautifully. The scenery in it is
yeah, dude, I felt like I was there.
Yeah, and to my understanding, they did it accurate to the time, the way buildings look, like certain specific.
I thought I heard that.
Yes, and so I'll give them a lot of credit for that.
It took years, I believe, for this to, but
no, I'll give it a 9 with a must-own tag. The same thing you did, for under $10,
to have
right?
it tucked away in your archive.
Again, grandma comes over, somebody comes over, and it's like, is grandma always going to want to play Beat Saber? Maybe not.
Grandma play. Oh yeah, okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that grandmas don't play Beat Saber.
Of course
I think
you'd
be surprised.
Twitch.
Oh yeah, but you got somebody comes. Hey, do you have a movie? And it's like I'll be the guy to say I never expected to be VR movie
because it was animation. That was
the off-putting.
I was like, no, is this gonna be like a cartoon?
Yeah,
Dora the Explorer. But no, it was actually like.
And
I had no complaints.
You hit the nail on the head. Adults gonna get the best enjoyment out of it,
Yeah, I'd say the younger the person, they'll still get the enjoyment, but they won't absorb 100% of it. Yeah. The adult, man, they're gonna suck that in, and
so I'll say hats off to them. I'm sad to see them only have 38 reviews. I hope that's because, like you said, it's just new, and I hope it's not because a bunch of people are like me and like, meh, I didn't get an Oculus to watch movies. Now I'm opened up to a whole new genre of things I'm open to. That I'm like, well, if this one got it, maybe the next one that comes out.
And listen, someone's got to really break that ice and get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And when you get people starting to back things and
no, it is cutting edge. All right, so 9. I mean, like I said, you stole my review.
I didn't mean.
No, it's okay.
These were and amazingly, these are two different people, independent thoughts coming to the same conclusion.
I almost wish I saved the listeners the time and just say, I give it a 9, go backwards 30 seconds, a minute, and listen to everything he said.
I just feel bad that we can't get into more detail.
Yeah.
And it seems to be happening more often than not now. It's either we're reviewing something early release or we're reviewing something that's got too many details that you don't want to kill it. But when you see these things or you play those games, then you'll 100% understand where we're coming from.
Hey, I'll say this. Here's what we can do. If you want to talk about this with us, if you've watched this or you haven't watched this yet, you listen to this podcast now, you go listen to it, right? And you want to talk about it?
Send us a message.
Go on our subreddit, r/RuffTalkVR. Go make a thread and say, hey, spoilers. I want to talk about the movie. And we can have a whole discussion in there with anybody else who's listened to, who's watched it,
100%.
And then we can have a non-spoiler thread too. So like this is, I'll say, guys, this is one I'd recommend to watch.
Okay, so 9 and 9.
Well, and I'm with you. I want to see if other people get emotion or if we're just
in the
moment.
That's
what I'm most curious about.
Videos. I'd love to see people taping themselves watching it to see if they do get emotional watching it.
It was the first question you asked me. Hey, let me know if you get any emotion.
Yeah, let me know if it brings out anything.
And I went,
And like you said, to do that in under an hour?
Animated.
Dude, you almost can't work out in under an hour and get results. You're going to tell me somebody put something together
with full character development, introduction, plotline, climax.
That's how invested you feel, folks.
In 45 minutes. For $10,
crazy.
You might cry for $10, under $10. So.
Right? Yeah, that's a good.
Come on,
get them waterworks going.
Come on, man. I don't want to give any spoilers. So let's end it now.
All right, enjoy, folks.
All right, 9 to 9. Have a great night, folks. If you enjoyed today's episode, then be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Also, if you're feeling real generous, you can even give us a 5-star review. Don't forget as well to check out our official subreddit at www.reddit.com/r/RuffTalkVR. There you can join other fans of the podcast, get sneak peeks of next week's episode, and even talk with our host directly. Also, any sponsorship inquiries and guest requests can be sent directly to our email at rufftalkvr@gmail.com. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and have a great day.